So I want to talk about a Packers rookie who is already making some noise in OTAs and mandatory minicamp. This is second-round linebacker Edgerrin Cooper. The Packers, of course, this offseason decided to move on from Devondre Campbell, who had a very good year. The first year came into Green Bay, still played at a pretty high level the last couple of years, but was dealing with some more injuries and wasn't playing quite at the top-tier level he was early in his time in Green Bay. And so the Packers decide to draft Edgerrin Cooper in the second round. And so here's sort of what the Packers have seen so far from him. We'll start off with some reporters speaking on Packers Undisputed, Mike Spofford and Wes Hodkwitz. They're having a conversation about what they saw in some practices recently. So here's Mike Spofford. His speed absolutely jumps off the field. There's no denying it. Wes Hodkwitz, his 40 time was better than half the cornerbacks that were drafted. When he's running a 4.51, which is a hundredth of a second faster than Quay Walker a year earlier, or 2 years earlier, this guy is a real physical specimen. Now I cautioned both on Inbox and on Twitter saying there's a lot that goes into inside linebacker beyond just athleticism. But one of the things we saw from Jeff Hafley in these minicamp practices, they dialed up a lot of blitzes. And it wasn't just the third down variety. They brought a lot of different packages. Eric Wilson was doing it. They were running Corey Ballantyne. They were running a lot of these things to throw some extra pressure at the opposing quarterback. But when it was Edgerrin Cooper, it was almost like that suffocating speed where it's like Mike McCarthy used to use that 2.5 second shot clock to throw the football. Mike Spofford comes in and says it's more like it needs to be 2.2, like there's just that little extra edge to it that the quarterback is speeding up that clock in his head when it's number 56 who gets turned loose. So it sounds like Edgerrin Cooper is already standing out to some of these different reporters. But I think that's sort of what the Packers were probably expecting when they brought in Edgerrin Cooper. If you read lots of his scouting profiles from different, NFL draft experts, some of the best aspects of his game are his speed, 4.51 40, and just his ability to close in on ball carriers. If you watch some of his highlights back in college, he's fast. He's, very long, and he can just fly around the field, has a great sideline-to-sideline speed. And so it sounds like, him pairing up with Quay Walker is going to be, going to help the Packers defense a lot coming into 2024. And I'm excited to see sort of how they mesh together, and I think we're going to see a lot of good things. Specifically when it comes to blitzing the quarterback, we've already heard a lot from these practices that Jeff Hafley likes to blitz different guys when it comes to linebackers, cornerbacks. We saw that looking back at his time in college, and so it's going to be a much more physical, aggressive type defense than we saw under Joe Barry. Then finishing off here, Wes Hodkwitz says the guy is very exciting to watch, and the Packers are taking this thing slow. He's not in there every time with the ones. They're using Isaiah McDuffie. Eric Wilson's getting a lot of reps there as well. But when you look at Cooper, and if Quay Walker shows that he's able to handle that Mike role really well this year, Cooper is going to find his way on the field. He's too much of an athlete not to. And just like we talked about Jordan Morgan yesterday, these are rookies who were just in the past few months drafted to Green Bay, and so they are just now learning the playbook, trying to figure things out. I guess when you think about the rest of the defense, they are all trying to learn a new defense, but they've had some more time since Jeff Hafley, signed on as a new defensive coordinator months back. And so I think just for any rookie, for any young player, especially when you're having to process all the new information, you're not really able to play free and fast until you really have a proper understanding of the playbook and what you're supposed to do. And it sounds like from other reports that Edgerrin Cooper has improved as time has gone by. But Matt LaFleur had even talked about how the next 5 weeks are important for Edgerrin Cooper when it comes to physically, mentally, just sort of getting everything operating and moving in the right direction. And so I think for any of these rookies, I'm not really worried to hear anything when it comes to them needing to figure out the playbook more or be able to handle things a little bit better. You'd expect that from young players who have barely any experience. And my guess would be just like with Jordan Morgan that I think that Jordan Morgan and Edgerrin Cooper should be starting by the time the season starts. If I had to lean more towards one, I would say Edgerrin Cooper starting at linebacker. I think that maybe Jordan Morgan, if he doesn't, shine in training camp, starts off as a backup and then maybe a few games in comes in. Who knows? But we'll have to sort of keep an eye on that during training camp. But right now, I'm not really worried about any of these Packers rookies considering it is still very early in their careers. So that's all for this one. If you want more Packers content, you can follow me on Twitter/X at LukeBeller3. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. And if you want more Packers news, make sure you turn on the post notifications so you never miss any of it. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.